Muy buenas tardes, mi gente. Aquí con ustedes la Comadre B with another episode of Comadriando aquí y con café. Today is Saturday, September the 14th, 2024, and I have the pleasure of being here with
Patrick J. Martinez.
For those of you guys who do not know who this person is, I consider him one of our local celebrities. He is my friend from the radio station. So if you read my post, you know who he is.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, so Mr. Patrick, who are you? What are you? ¿A qué te dedicas? Cuéntanos todo.
Well, first off, thank you for inviting me to come in. I'm never used to the microphone being turned around.
I got him. He got me. I got him back.
So I might start off rocky. How's that for me? Just to get used to the adjustment on being on the other side of everything. But yes, thank you for inviting me to come down. This space is really cool. So anyone who's already been in this space, yeah, I can see why they talk really nice.
Yeah, it's home.
No, I like it.
Home.
I like it.
And like I always tell everybody, you guys are more than welcome to come back. Tell me what else you guys are doing. That kind of stuff. I appreciate people. I like them coming. This is my house. Come. You have an open door. Always.
Well,
yeah.
I might take it.
Yes. I wanted to start with my saludos. So yes. I'm going to give mine to my mother. Mom, I got the radio guy here. Hi, Mom. I wanted to give out a little saludo to my niece. She just turned 2 on Thursday, so happy birthday to her. And since her brother's a little envidioso and celoso, I'm going to tell Jimmy and Julian saludo to my nephews too, because he was like, hey, you need to give me a saludo on your show. And I said, okay, I will. But I haven't recorded anything in 2 weeks. So on Wednesday, he said, yeah, where's my shout out? And I was like, mijo, I haven't done anything. So here it is, Jimmy. Hi, babe. Would you like to give a saludo to anybody?
You know what? Let's, I think maybe first and foremost, my parents. They've been listening to this for the last 5 years, every single broadcast. So they've not missed one. I can't think of them missing one. So definitely to them, I want to give a big shout out to my partner Jennifer, who's been a big support through this whole thing as well. I know she sits quietly on the sides, and she does her work though too when it comes for Saturday nights. And maybe everyone at the station themselves for allowing me to do this at the point in my life that I am now. And yeah, because it's brought us together. Like,
it has.
It definitely has. So yeah. I think I'm grateful for all of that, and grateful to be right where I am right now.
Yeah, that's where it's at. That's where it's at. More goals. I'll introduce the way we know each other for, again, the people that don't know. Instagram obviously connects lives.
A lot of people, yeah, no, it does.
Connects lives. For a long time, I was kind of like, social media is killing things. But honestly, I think it makes things positive and better. And if you use resources, it helps you in many, many ways. And I would say this is one of the ways that it helped me. And connecting with him, he does community radio out in the Boyle Heights area. And he was following me, I was following him, talking about all the community stuff, because he's a big time community involved person. I consider him a staple. So yeah, we just started talking there, and a fan and a fan, yeah, back and forth. And yeah, that's how we know each other. He had me on the radio. He's the one, that gave me that opportunity to be on the radio, gave me my first official interview. So that is how we came to be. And now he's here in my house on my couch. So let's talk about you.
Yeah.
Let's see, what's your upbringing? Let us know everything you do.
My upbringing. I know we've talked about this before. I think the upbringing I guess it depends where we want to lean on it. If we want to lean on like this, I know we talked about it before. This was one of the things I've always wanted to do, like communications, as early as I can remember, and just didn't know how to go about it. Just didn't know how it worked. Like, how does broadcast work, right? Like, how does this work? So even going through high school, I never really asked those questions either. Even being in an art school where I had all of this stuff kind of there for me, this information, even I didn't ask. Yeah. I took like the elective class and stuff like that. We were able. There's even like there's a young recording of me out there at like 16 floating around for as a school project that we did. We did like a whole radio show, so I had like a couple bit parts.
Oh, how cool!
But even with that, I still didn't ask.
Was it for the school only? Or?
It was a project it was for that elective class, and the project was a radio class, and then the project was to have a product. So we ended up with an audio cassette of a program that we all got together. Yeah, and so I don't know, upbringing.
Well, see, because I know we have a lot in common.
Yeah,
he's a barrio kid too. The whole antique background. Yeah. Your mom. We're
both nerds.
Yes.
We're both nerds from the ghetto, which often we've talked about some of the.
All we need to do is a laugh.
Yeah.
I can't even mimic it, but yeah.
No, we share some of how it is being a nerd.
He's a collector
in the ghetto. Yeah. So, like when we look at I think a lot of my background in terms of when you think of someone from East LA, I think a lot of people get a certain.
You expect a homie.
Possibly,
big time
maybe.
Cholo.
I think that's one aesthetic.
Just show them your tattoos already.
Just show them already. Get it out. Just show them. That's what they want to see. That's what they wear. No, I think mine in essence was a little different. And then, like you said, you have to be, being. How can I say it? Like being a nerd. Like at one point, you kind of pick up that you're a nerd. Like you kind of already picked up already, maybe because of just the things you're into, or those idiosyncrasies you develop. So, and then so I had parents that were very, to make it a little different, I guess, to kind of cover that. My parents, when they grew up in East Los Angeles, they grew up right at the time when it was, people tend to forget now how diverse it was. So the block that I'm on that I grew up on and live on now, used to be predominantly a Russian.
Really?
Block.
How cool. Okay.
And then maybe on the cross street, I think that was all Japanese, like the majority of Japanese. There's always lots that throughout, of course, but like certain streets had certain pockets of other cultural makeup.
Yeah.
So with that, my parents always had that. They were always diverse around the people that they were either went to school with or friends with. And even when we look at my grandparents, even being my grandparents, same story, immigrant story, right? Typical immigrant story. Got here, they knew there was really going to be nothing for them. In the old country, I like to say, the motherland in Mexico, right?
Yes.
So even with them, they were even working when they had to work fields here. My grandma, my dad's side especially, she was the same way. She liked to be around other cultures. So growing up, one of the things I think my parents really made it a clear point was to make sure I stayed diverse in knowing cultures.
Yeah.
Which I feel has a little bit of a different upbringing.
Yeah.
Than some of
sticking to yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, and I would stick to myself, definitely be sticking to myself. But in terms of sticking to ourselves, that wasn't something that wasn't really going to happen.
Yeah.
I guess with my parents. So I think for them was one of the probably like the biggest things they really put me in.
And that was a great gift, right?
I
Now,
feel
as an adult, you can literally relate to many people, different things, and it's not like weird to you.
Well,
right?
That's how I feel, because it's like I know because I always hear stories about a lot of us that come from let's say East Los Angeles or Boyle Heights, or maybe even a similar background. I hear stories when we share these stories, and sometimes I'm intrigued that when I hear like a friend of mine or someone that I've known wasn't really exposed to these different cultures and peoples for whatever reason. Like, it doesn't really matter the reason, but I also gotta tell myself, like, different upbringings, right? Like, different upbringings and different approaches to life, I guess. So even with all of that, even getting to the point of, let's just say, to even the thought of doing something like broadcasting, I was still kind of with the mentality of, I'm from this area. Can I do it? Can I not do it? So I even being as not enlightened but exposed a little, I still was like still in that belief of like, is that not your place? I guess the question is, right? Like, I think that's a lot of what that was.
Yeah.
And then, like, upbringing for me.
No,
which makes it, makes it at the end of the time makes you weird at the same time, like.
But we're the weird crew right here, so it's okay. Like, a lot of people always like, after they know me, right? They're like, I thought you were a totally different way, and then I meet you and you're like all opposite. It's like, well, I guess appearances lie. They trick you,
They can be tricky.
Yeah, but it's like, I don't know what impression they get of me, but it's like, no, I'm a nerd. I'm a nerd. I like to know things.
But you've never, I don't think you've been shy ever.
I'm very shy though. That's the thing. Look, people don't understand. Okay, to me, I think I'm shy because usually, you see me on tape, whatever, video, YouTube, whatever it is you see me on, but it's always just me and my camera. It isn't in front of a live studio audience, so it's me, my husband behind the camera. That is it. So of course I'm not gonna be shy with him. If anything, he brings out all the emotions in me. So either I could be happy, sad, or really pissed off, ready to kill somebody, So it's like weird. I need to warm up to the group, and then I'm good. But I'm very shy in reality, and nobody gets it, and they make fun of me and shut the hell up. Like, for reals, I really am. So I am shy though.
I think that's another thing we possess, right? Like all of those that are nerdy, that kind of protecting yourself, kind of like. And do you think it's because of areas we grew up in and just culturally, or?
I go back with mine to the whole acceptance part of it. You know what I mean? It's like, what can I say and what can I not say?
Yeah.
And believe it or not, even now as a grown-up, not with people anymore, it's family. Family. Not my family, his family. I need to watch very carefully what I say, how I say it, and you better not be making no eye contact with nobody, because it gets turned like this. So it's really hard. Yeah. It's really, really hard to be, accepted and not misunderstood. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I think those are my issues.
That's what kind of come out with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, even at my most youngest, I think I was never shy about my nerdiness.
Yeah.
Like, I was kind of open with it. Like, open about, I read comics, and then I collect toys, I do all this stuff. And even at the ages when I shouldn't have been sharing that, I was still open and out about it.
Yeah.
And I know there was a lot of people who, even in my neighborhood, who weren't open and out about their whole nerdiness until adulthood, when they found more comfortable. So even there was even things like that sometimes I couldn't process why somebody would hide it. Even knowing why, because you don't want to get made fun of.
Yeah.
You don't want anyone making fun of you. Yes, it does look kind of weird for a certain kid to be a certain age and still liking the same stuff, and then being a grown man and being into it and stuff like that. So even for me, it's like, as much as I still understand why, I'd be like, why just be out about it? Like,
Yeah, like, who cares?
and yeah, again, at the end of the day, yeah, who cares, right?
Yeah,
Because it is what it is, and it had been cool with the whole that part of pop culture being accepted, like the comic books with all these comic book movies and stuff. Like, so that was cool, seeing more people be open about it.
yeah. And all that is like a dying art. Like, I'm not exactly sure how old you are, but like us, we're 40. All the stuff back then you don't see anymore. You know, like Hot Wheels is one of the things that's still there.
Yeah.
You got Barbie that's still there, but what started with us as a toy and then became a collector's item, comic books, for instance, as well. The kids don't do that anymore. None of it. They don't appreciate it. They don't like it. They don't care. And back then, for like, I guess us, it was like one of those like wow things. Like, I don't know if you've ever watched the Goldbergs.
Yeah.
The little boy, you know,
Yeah.
the way Adam is, like, I can relate on so many levels with him, because yeah, it's like the new thing coming out, and oh my goodness, and this and this. And nowadays it's like you don't have any more comic book nerds, because boys aren't into it anymore.
No,
it's still
no.
people our age that are like into it still.
Yeah,
And it's
I agree.
sad.
No, I agree. I don't see a lot of youth reading.
No,
Like
they
you
don't.
say.
And then like
They're consuming the movies,
yes,
but they're not reading.
they don't go out of their
the
way to
books.
collect them. And
No.
like I had mentioned in one episode when I did with Victor Phillip, I had a friend in class, or one of my friends, Jorge Sanchez. He used to sneak his brother's comic books, and you know how like special ones come in like sleeves, and there's special editions and collector's items, and we'd be in class, and he would be like with his head down reading the comic book under the desk, and I would sit right next to him, so I'm watching him like, what are you doing?
What are you doing?
And he's like, shh, just stop. And I'd be like intrigued, because what is he doing down there? So I'm like trying to look, and I'm like, okay, it's a freaking book. Like, what book is that, you know? I had never seen a comic book before till him. So I was like, what is that? He's all just shh. And I'm just like, let me see, or I'm telling, you know? And he's like, these are comic books, they're not for girls. And I was like, well, how do you know that? He's like, because you won't like it. I'm like, just let me see. He's like, no, you can't touch this one, it's special. And he's telling me all the information, and I'm just like, I don't care, I want to see it.
Let's see it, let me just see it.
And he's all, well, hold on. So he turned around and looked through his backpack. He'd have all the books in there. So he'd just give it to me and like this, in the pouch and everything. And then he's all, I'll take it out. And then he'd take it out. He's all, don't crease it. And I'd be like, okay. So we'd both be sitting there with our head down. I remember Miss Kazmark's like, what's going on back there? And I'm just like, I don't even like it here.
I don't like it here.
We didn't get in trouble, but I was like, here, I don't like it. The whole bubble's going back and forth, you know? Yeah, he told me, so I told you it's not for girls. And I was like, whatever. Like, I don't like it anyway.
This one wasn't for me.
Too much back and forth. Whatever. But the drawings were cool, you know? Like the bubbles and everything. And then you had like the pals, and it was just so cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, you don't see.
So why would you not be into that now? Like,
I like
right?
them.
No,
yeah. I'm actually making my. I had mentioned before.
No, I know you mentioned that.
And it's a comic, so I'm hoping to release it by Halloween, because it is a scary comic. This Halloween. So stay tuned, guys. I am like my kids, my little illustrator.
Yeah.
And she don't want to do it. She's just like. And I'm like, Susie, do it. And she's like, ah. So the thing is, we already like halfway through it, so Ma, you need to just finish.
Okay.
And then I lost the pages, so I made her restart.
Oh no!
And she's like, "But Mom," and I'm like, "Just be quiet and do it." Not lost; they're just put somewhere.
They're lost.
We all know that was parent for I lost them, and I don't know what.
And she's just mad about it. She's like, "Mom," and I'm like, "Just shut up and do them." Because she draws so good.
Oh my
you
God.
know, I'd rather her do that than be a bored ass. You know what a bored ass is, right?
Yeah.
Where all they do is just phone and then it dies and then they're just bugging you.
Yeah, because they don't know what to do.
That's my kid. And I tell her, I'm already not okay with you on the phone for freaking 18 hours a day. Stop being a bored ass. And you know, our apartment's really small, so I understand she can't do much, but it's like, put your skills to use.
Draw. Go
Yeah,
draw.
like her dad's John's a tattooist. He does such good work. My girls both picked it up from him. I can't even draw a straight stick figure. I'm not even gonna lie. Like the eyes are off, one leg is off. They're just off. And them three are just so good. It's like, don't waste it. Do something with it. You know?
No, you're right.
So yeah, but
Comics is a good way to kind of get that
Halloween
joy.
I'm going for release. So I'm gonna see how that goes.
How many pages?
It's about how many? Like 14? 15, 16? Something like that.
Oh man,
Yeah.
you're almost at like the full 22 pages.
Yeah, no, I couldn't do the whole.
The whole
And it
book.
was just a story that I told my nephew, Jimmy, one day because he was always sick. And then they'd tell me, go pick him up, my sister, because she works. So go pick him up. And he's like sitting there all bored too. And I was just lying to him one day. So I made up this whole story in like 3 minutes. And he's like believing me. He's all, where did this come out on the news? And he's like, I didn't hear about him. I'll send it to you later. He's like, okay. So when my sister came and picked him up and he was on his way out, I was like, mijo, that story I told you was just a lie. I made it up for you to entertain you. And he's like, oh man. So he was excited about it. He's like, that's a good story though. And I'm like, yeah, it is.
He was already for your sources.
Yeah,
He's
he wanted
like,
to
I
see
want
the newspaper
like all the
clipping
sources that
online
you
or
saw.
whatever. And yeah, so it was just, I just lie a lot with my stories. I have to entertain these kids. Because, man, they bug. My little one's like, mom. She tells me what mom about 50 times in a freaking minute. It's like, I just lie to them to keep them sedated and with fear. I lie to them to keep them sedated with fear. That's what I do. And then they calm
my
down.
God.
They're good. And then when they forget, they're back
And
to
then
it.
they're back
So
to it.
at least it
The phone's
helped a little
charged
bit.
and everything's
Yes.
back to normal.
So
Everything's
yeah,
back
it's one of
to where
those
it needs to
things.
be.
Whatever.
Pretty good though. I'd like to have it to push for that October though.
Yeah.
So hopefully everything gets good done. You refund your printer and everything. You got
Yes.
through all the hard work.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So I'm actually doing it. I'll let you guys know because I liked it off of regular notebook paper.
Okay.
So the idea behind it is as if a kid is doing their own
Okay.
comic book out of a notebook.
Okay.
So you're gonna see ugly writing. It ain't perfect. It ain't like little bubbles. It's literally like if a child sat there and wrote it in themselves.
Okay.
So that's the look I'm going for. And if all goes well, I would like to release one maybe every other month or so.
That's cool.
Just to see how far I get.
That's cool.
Yeah, I have so many like
Ideas.
yeah, my original line of children books is all based off of my first daughter, Susie, when she was little. Because the same thing, every night they expect a story. Give me a story, mom. So all my stories every night start with once upon a time. So in that line, it's the family and they're witches, right? The mom is a witch and the little girl's a witch. The husband's not a witch, just the mom
Just a
and the little
regular
girl.
a normie.
And what I tend to do is put her in character of the stuff she did throughout the day. So I, flip it on her and then she's like sitting here without even realizing that little shit in the story was really actually her. So throughout all these years, every night was a story to the older one. And then now with my little one, it's two little witches now. Because you got the original one and the little one. And the same thing, but that one I would want to turn more into kind of a bilingual as well, like I had told you.
Yeah.
Again, there's not a lot of reading material, and books are so important, especially for little kids at that age, So those are things I'm looking to do. But enough about me. Let's talk about you. I was sitting here just going on and on. So you said in high school you did a demo for radio, the little station or whatever. was that when you knew you would possibly want to do it, or was it just because it was an assignment and thrown at you, or how did that come out?
Well, that was an elective I picked.
Okay.
So that definitely was something that I wanted to do. And that one was really cool because we got to go to a radio station and explore just what they had, explore their building. It was really cool.
Where did you guys go?
I don't even remember, to be honest. I think it was in the Hollywood area, if I'm not mistaken. And it was an actual radio station too. I just can't remember what it was. It wasn't like the popular community radio ones, like the big ones. It wasn't like, what is it, KPFM or whatever. It wasn't anything like that. But they did podcast out of there. They made a lot of what would you call them? Like they did a lot of not just broadcasting, but it seemed like they did a lot of. Remember back in the 80s, the 80s, 90s, you get those audio cassettes that were either like meant to like empower you, or were meant to kind of like a self-help kind of stuff. It seemed like that's what they did a lot of in that particular spot as well, in terms of what they were producing out of there. But it was a really cool little studio. It was like it was in Hollywood, if I remember. We took a bus to Hollywood, and it looked like it was in a strip mall. It was pretty cool. But we did our whole project for that class there in like 2 days. When
you went in there, did you think this is where I want to be soon?
Yes. And even with all of that, I still found whatever discouragement inside myself not to ask. So like all the choices were all mine, like not to like find out what I had to do. Like, so that was pretty much me. Like, so I guess my big message to anyone, to any youth that doesn't know what they want to do or knows what they want to do, ask the questions.
The questions.
Ask the questions, no matter what it is. Like, it doesn't matter. I don't care if you want to sell corn or if you want to, open a record store. Ask people who do that.
Yeah.
Ask the person who sells the corn what they need to get started, what you need. Ask the person who runs a record store what they need as a business plan or whatever.
And if they don't give you your answer, guys, find
someone else. Yeah.
Because I know personally there's a lot of haters, that's what I'm calling them, because they hate on the fact that other people want to do something.
Yeah.
And it's very shameful and hurtful. And like me, I love to give that source. I love the help. I like to see people make it happen. So everybody that personally knows me already knows, if it is within my power, I will help you. I will guide you in the right place. I don't know everything, but I know a lot of people.
Yeah.
For instance, one time there was a person, a woman, and one of her family members wanted to start doing pop-ups and stuff. Mm-hmm. And she's telling me, she's like, I told her to do her homework and figure it out. It's like, if you're already halfway there, why? That's your cousin. You need to tell her. So nobody helped me. I'm like, that's more of a reason to help. Mm-hmm. Because nobody helped you. You know how hard it's been. If you yourself would have had that help, you would have been already up here instead of struggling to be where you're at. So find the source. If they cut you short or don't give you information, look for another source. There's a saying in Spanish, preguntando se llega a Roma. And that's what I live by my entire life. I will ask. I don't care.
Yeah.
I will ask and keep asking. And if I bug, I'm sorry, but I need to know.
No, yeah, ask. I think why I am where I am, I guess, in terms of that. And yeah, I mean, because I went to also another thing that was, I think, different in my upbringing growing up in East Los Angeles. I also had an opportunity to go to an arts high school. I went to Los Angeles High School County for the Arts, which is located on the campus of Cal State LA.
How cool is that?
It's very cool. I didn't even think, and again, another thing is I didn't think I would make it. I was all ready to go to my local school, which would have been Garfield. I was like, I'm ready to go. We're going to go to Garfield. Yeah, Bulldogs. I'm excited. And then went to the audition for this school. Did not even think I was going to make it. I went in for theater is what I majored in. And that's where I spent a lot of my high school. So even my scholastics were still a little different than everyone else around me. So even being in that, so even again being in an area that had resources, I still didn't ask the questions. So it's just like.
But why? Were you like just never mind, or?
That's.
Sorry to ask.
No. That's what I ask myself even now. Like, why didn't I ask? Was it a clear indicator of like a personality trait where it's like I don't want to ask because I don't want to be successful in it, or did I not ask because is it as it was? Is like even as I do the radio now, I have this whole thing that I battle with. That I don't belong in that space. So same thing even with being an arts high. I don't belong here. So I think a lot of it could have been my own innate characteristic in that. It's the only thing I can think why I didn't want to do it. Like even up until this day, I'm like, well, why didn't I ask? Like, what? As nosy and as I am, or as what do you call it? As friendly or open or whatever. Again, why didn't I ask? So as I look at it through the years, I'm like, I think a lot of it was the not feeling, knowing you don't belong in a space. Maybe I think maybe that's what it was. I don't know. But I think that's, I was saying, like anyone, no matter what age they are, not ask the questions. I think that's one of the things I like about you and what you've been doing lately, is you're asking those questions.
Well, we
to
need
do what
to
you want to do.
Yes, we all need to. Yeah. So you do radio now. How long was that whole like actual? I'm gonna roll up my sleeves and get this done. I'm gonna be on the radio now. How long did that whole process take?
So, I tabled that whole thing for years after high school. I just tabled it. Just started working, having kids, started focused on just like everyday life. And I didn't really do much in the arena. Maybe hosting at like local for just various shows, various performers. Maybe doing that because I still have a performance background. Still have a performance background in theater. So I would kind of use those hosting abilities for that every so often. But I did nothing. Like, I would always tell myself, okay, I'm going to build a ham radio. Okay, I'm going to build a ham radio. I'm going to get the money to build a ham radio. Because that was like the dream communication tool. Was to have a ham radio. Like, that was the dream. Was to build it.
Explain to them right now, since we're talking about ham radio.
The ham radio is a communications device, a broadcasting device that one of the prideful things about it is you would build it. Like you would build it like men build a car. So the more that you can add to that radio, the more ampage, wattage, reach you can get. So again, for me, it was one of those things, it was just too expensive to have. You can't have it. And so, and another thing for me too was, couldn't afford it. Even when I was looking at trying to buy one, when I could afford it, I still had that whole thing of not doing it. And I think it was maybe all guidelines, like FCC guidelines. Because as important as ham radio is, you can't be goofing around on it. Like, so ham radio, for me, one of the most important tools in ham radio is when there is a natural disaster that occurs. So let's say like 9/11, that recent earthquake in Puerto Rico. And without the ham operators' frequencies and the ham operators themselves, a lot information would not have gone out. Like, that's kind of like how important that device is. The communications devices. And so, something I always wanted. And you can communicate to other people and stuff like that. You can still communicate. But it's not like something where you can, it's not like what you can do now with podcasting.
Yeah.
But it was the closest that I had at the time to that. So even adult, always had it in my head. Never really went about it. until about several years ago. The conservatory, the Boyle Heights Arts Conservatory, which is the nonprofit that provides the service of the radio station, got their license up and going. Up and ready, everything, equipment, all ready to go. And they had an open post, an open Instagram post to submit. I immediately submitted. Like without any hesitation. And that was more, I think I saw it as a whim. Because at the same time that came about, I was trying to figure out how I was doing the whole how does one podcast? Like, so that's where I was. I was like, and then again, I'm doing the whole thing where I'm getting in the way of myself. Oh, you can't do podcasting because you need all this. You need all this stuff. All the stuff they show you on TV shows and all this stuff you see about podcasting. That's what you need. And you don't have it. Sit down. Like, it was one of those, like, here I am trying to want to do broadcast. Kind of like, so how do I go about it? And I thought, too, I went podcasting because that seems like the way I can easily attain it. That's what my first thought was, right? Mm-hmm. That's what I told myself. But then I kept telling myself, nah, you need all this stuff. So, saw the post, submitted. I think within the day I got like
word back from them.
Yeah, like a positive.
So then, what did you do when you read the message?
I was totally excited and scared and shocked and was like, "Is this real?" Because for me it was like a commercial. I think it was like a commercial station that said like, "Yeah, we're gonna hire you." That's like how the impact was. Yeah. And I was like, "Whoa, know what I do?" Like, oh no, know what goes on. And yeah, so I've been doing that. That worked, I think, perfectly. To be honest.
So then, you show up, right? Obviously, you show up. Then what happened?
Well, the thing is, what was cool about the conservatory is when it opened up in what is known as the Paramount Ballroom. So, the Paramount Ballroom is probably one of the most important ballrooms and stages in not just Boyle Heights and East LA, but Los Angeles in general, right? So, the conservatory had opened a few years before the station got up. So, I'd been going there getting services for me and my family. Foods, stuff like that, information to get clothing, just stuff like that, stuff for the family. And the conservatory themselves, the Boyle Heights Conservatory, their whole mission is to get the community, especially the youth, geared towards a career in broadcasting through the means of podcasting, through the means of radio, through the means of film and other media.
And right now, as we speak, they offer that.
So it's a lot of things that
there's a big important source, guys. You just heard everything that this space offers to the youth. Utilize it. Take advantage of it. Sign your kids up even though they don't want to. Take them. They'll eventually fall in love with something. Right?
No, they will. There's fall classes coming up. They just finished some of the big summer program. For the youth, a lot of these classes and courses are free. And they vary from podcasting to voice animation. So by the time the radio station thing was about to go up and running, I was already kind of involved
in that.
I'm starting to pride myself as one of the conservatory's oldest family members are serving in the community.
That's neat.
That's how I like to see it.
No, that's neat.
That's how I like to see it.
Be involved like that, yeah.
And so that brought the opportunity of doing that, and that was, I got trained by Carmelita. She's the director, but she was also a disc jockey out here in Los Angeles. The one who's running the conservatory is no joke in terms of communications and radio. Actually got a big background in that, which is why that space is using such a push for the community. radio stations.
So when you were in that control room, what were your thoughts?
First again was I don't belong here. I'm taking the spot from somebody else. So that was first and foremost prevalent in my brain. And then, but that also told me like, that just means you have to put out good work now. That means you have no other choice, because also I tell myself, you're here now and you're here now for a reason. So that was a lot of the thought. So, but being in there and just doing it was I mean, it's like when you were in there, like how phenomenal.
Don't flip it on
like,
me.
like how phenomenal was it? Like, how did it feel?
Well, see, because again, I share that love for radio with you. So to me, it was still like Tinkerbell was like dusting me up.
Yeah.
So I was just like, oh my God, I don't know if my ears are numb or my throat is, but wow, you know, it's just magical. I've always, like I said before, the mystery of the voice that comes out of that speaker. Who is it? What does it look like where they're at? So to be there and see all the little buttons and the speakers and the headpieces, and it's just like,
all the weird little lights that come out of nowhere.
And the little thing that's like moving, and it's just like, wow. Like for me, I was like, I'm really here. Like, wow.
That's what it was like. Just like that.
A rush.
Yeah, it's a rush. It's a rush. You know, I still get that same rush. Sometimes I get those times where I'm like, I gotta go in today. I can call out, right? but I think with anything you love, that's kind of always felt.
Yeah.
But no, it still has that same rush.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then you do interviews.
Yes.
How like, okay, you do the whole, your program, music, this and that. Was it something that was suggested to do, or is it something you wanted to do to put people out there like I do?
No, it was, the intention was always going to be in the manner, in the same vein that you do it.
Yeah.
And it's always going to be like that even as a kid. Like even as a kid, I had it in my head that, I always had it in my head that it wasn't really going to be about me, but it was going to be about the stories and the people that came on. So yes, it was always intended to have focus on independent art, independent small business, independent creators, everything on that side of pop culture.
Pop culture's good.
So that's what it was going to cover. So it always had an intention to cover local heroes, local celebrities, and to cover just, you know, topics to be discussed. You know, like vendors and entrepreneurs and small business people were always going to be another catch because of my mom.
Yeah.
So that was one reason too. I was going to be like, no, we'll focus on people who run their own business, because it would have been cool if something like this was around when my mom was doing her swap meet thing.
Yeah, because all small businesses, they don't get the spotlight as they should, because nobody knows about them. So it's like, you think the small business, they have so many good things and it helps that household, versus the big names, Walmart. Then you got like Sears, well, they closed down, but you know, it's always the small guy that stays small because they don't have that exposure, or that, well, mainly exposure, because nobody knows who they are.
And it was the outlet, like you said earlier, where use the outlet for that information. Like, so why would you not share the information to another small business operator to get their start? Yeah. So it was kind of the same way. It was to kind of have that story shared, and then to have those story heard from all generations. Yeah. So that was kind of, it was always, even as earliest thoughts in my mind, it was always going to be show focused and in generation building, and just all these things that we don't really hear about, like that, like small business and local stuff.
Yeah, that's it. I'm hoping to go to a restaurant down the street. It's been there about a year, and it was just thrown at us. We did a photo shoot 2 weeks ago with that motorcycle.
Yes.
He's Pomona too, so we're hardcore Pomona, and his cousin just so happened to open that business there, and he's like, he'll give you guys a tour, and I'm all good. I want a tour. He's all, his slow days are Thursday, so I'm hoping we can get in there Thursday because I want to see. And it's crazy because that specific location they're at used to sell the old military uniforms and stuff.
Also, it was I forget what they call those, but it was one of those.
It had
the salvage, military salvage.
I believe that's
right?
that's what it was, because you could pick up old helmets, all the uniforms of the different military.
That's really cool.
So I'm thinking it's haunted. I want to go sit in there in the quiet because I'm big on that. I can pick up that vibe.
You can pick it up.
But it's just amazing to see it because we've drove by and it's completely different. Before it was dark and dingy and scary. And now it's just like, oh, I think it's all glass, in the front now.
Wow.
It looks so nice. So it's like, that's a good, like, you know. And we had just noticed it about 2 months ago. I said, hey, look at this. What the heck was this? Why was the old military place? And he's like, it is, huh? Well, yeah, it's a restaurant now. So then now it turns out we know the cousin, so I'm going.
Yeah.
I want to go, I want to eat, and I want to tell you guys about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, small businesses
see how much of it we kept.
Yeah, small businesses need the love and support from the community. So stay in your area, guys, and go do business there.
Yeah.
Everybody travels, and that's not cool.
Yeah. I know Instagram has a lot of its impact on where you can convince somebody to go eat. But yeah.
Give it a go.
Give it a go. No, but I know that's a big one. But yeah, locally, it's like stay local, especially with the food and business stuff.
Yeah.
You know, I think the more local you stay, the more it can help.
And depending to the areas, like I know here's Pomona, downtown suffers a lot. We have that amazing strip. So we have the Arts Colony, which is on the west side, and then we have the Antique Row, which is on the east side. That Antique Row is dead.
No one shopping there, or
they literally closed down like the last 3 big shops back there, There's only one left. It's a 3-story building. It's amazing. I love it. I know you like antiques too. So it's just to go in there's a field trip, but I have kids and things are expensive, so we don't go in there no more. But before, when it was just me and him, that was our place to go, and we'd be up in there about 5-6 hours easy. And it's like, man, I'm hungry now. What time is it? Oh shoot, we've been here that long. But it's dead. It's dead. Yeah, they brought new what is it? Cefiche. Yeah, it is a really cool restaurant. Husband and wife owned, and it's literally speakeasy style because you walk into one restaurant.
Oh, shoot, you gotta go.
And then it says Cefiche down here. So you go down the stairs, and then there's like 2 pool tables, a bar, but they're not connected to the window that sells the seafood. It's crazy. It's amazing. But that's bringing in a crowd right there. I think they're in the Metro Owl House or something like that. So it's really cool. It's really cool. If you guys are from the area, I recommend you guys go. The guy that was serving was like, it's really good, and we're just like, because you own it, you know. Then one bite, I was like, ooh, it is so good. Like, yeah, and I'm picky, so I believe you. But it's amazing, guys, and it's one of those things, and I hope they continue to bring in people because our downtown's suffering, and it's so sad.
It's always sad to hear about that side right there, though.
Yeah, it's very sad. Yeah, very, very sad. Yeah, the Art Colony, the only thing that keeps that alive is the city of Pomona. They're doing a lot of stuff it seems like every other week, They have the art walk, they call it. So it's basically like pop-ups and a whole like festival type thing. They sell food, they have shows, there's a stage right there. So it helps, but it's still just a shame because it's such a cool, like we knew it in its glory. Yeah. And it's gone, and it's sad, and it's so just sitting there. If you've seen the movie The Cat in the Hat, it was actually filmed right there. So when we started coming here, they still had the big hammers out there that were left over from the scene.
From the movie, yeah.
So it was like, oh, okay, this is cool. And we didn't even know what it was because there's like big old hats out there. They had a big old hammer. And we're just like, this is so weird. So the owners of the shop that we were always in they're the ones that told us, like, oh, those are leftover props from the Cat in the Hat. They filmed it here a few years back. So we're like, oh, and now that my kids see it, I always tell them, look, that's where we're always at. And they're like, oh yeah, like they recognize it and stuff. So it's kind of cool. It's really cool.
That's cool. But then again, yeah, to hear that no one's going,
yeah, it's really, really sad. Yep, that 3-story building, it's like one of those malls. So you have one level has about 60 vendors. They have little spots, but it's really neat. They're really nice to go check out. If you guys don't have anything to do and want to do window shopping, but the mall's too expensive, go there. Your kids won't like anything.
Your kids won't like anything.
They will not like anything,
you can't
so they will not
old.
ask. So believe me, you could just look and you're good.
That's cool.
Yeah, you should go. I'll take you right now.
That's cool.
Yeah. So with your interviews, what has been like the coolest interview you have had over there?
You know what gets me? Not so much on what might be, is I shock myself on the conversations that I can float with. Like, that's what gets me, I think, out of everything. Like, I look at any of the interviews I've had. Like, I had an interview with the Gibbon Conservatory. There's like this Gibbon, or they, what do you call it? Not a conservatory, but so there's this habitat that they have for gibbons out here. I think it's oh man, what city is it in? I forget what city. Anyway, so we have this whole like preserve where we have gibbons in it, like these primates, and it's here in Los Angeles. It's probably like an hour away from downtown, right? So they had a documentary that came out a couple years ago with the woman who's running this this habitat, and the people are running it and talking about the gibbons and the featured animals that are there. And what got me is I held that whole conversation. I don't know anything about gibbons. Like, don't know nothing about gibbons.
I don't know
whatsoever.
nothing about gibbons either, so I'm like...
Maybe 3 months ago, I even learned what a gibbon was.
See, you see my interested face?
No.
Like, I think I know what you're talking about.
So it's like, yeah, it's a primate. It's a class of primate. And it's got its, like, distinctions in its class. So and again, I didn't know anything about primates, but there I am having this whole conversation with the woman that runs this habitat, talking about the documentary that had just been out, which was winning all kinds of awards and getting all kinds of recognition. So what gets me is what really surprises me is these conversations that I'm able to hold that I never thought I'd be able to hold with like the gibbon. I don't know about gibbons. Then I had a conversation with firefighters in Canada and the States who there was a group of firefighters in like New York and Canada who used the culture of motorcycles as a way to deal with the PTSD, right? And they found that bike riding was one of the ways to help these men go through a lot of it. But they started getting a lot of slack because one of them wore a jacket. So one of them they made jackets and everything for their little thing. One of them wore it in a way where it started looking like they were a bike gang. So they went through this whole thing.
Sons of Anarchy. No.
Well, yeah, it went through, and it was all based on just one jacket that was made, right? And apparently, if you make a jacket in the biker world a certain way, it comes off a certain way. Mm-hmm. So they started getting looked at differently. So in the documentary, they're talking about all the work that they have to do as firefighters and the things that they see. But then they talked about how they created this whole group of support to get other firefighters kind of out of the PTSD, to get them back on the mental health road, to just kind of help them with all that. And so now they're getting attacked on this whole other thing. So having that conversation was another one, because I'm not a firefighter, I'm not a first responder. So there's a lot of things that you and I may not understand in terms of what these men and women have to see first and foremost. And in their stories, they're talking about some of the things that they saw being firemen. And they're talking about how the politicians use them for their gain, but will never follow through with anything after. So there's a lot that they were talking about. So just having these conversations on all these different topics throughout this whole time I've been doing it, I think that's what surprises me the most. It's not sometimes one. There's a couple that have definitely stuck out. But for me, I think I'm proud of myself that I can actually like hold on to these conversations, because I'm not a scholar. I didn't get that high in any sort of like educational degrees or anything like that. So for me to just be able to hold this conversation it's I think that's what tells me, like, you can do it, dude.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
it's like so rewarding after, because you do learn a lot, right?
Yeah.
It's like you sit here and you have these conversations with people, and although it's just like talk, I take in a lot after, and I'm like, oh, okay, like, wow, so it's a win.
No, it's
a win-win.
And they have to do their research sometimes.
Yeah.
On there. So depending what the topic is, and depending if it's on a current person, I'll do the research. So the research is always the fun part, but sometimes the hardest part is like, I'm going to talk to this professor on Gibbons. Can a dude from East LA do it? Can he hang on this conversation? We'll find out. But it's the fact that I've been able to find myself in conversations I never probably would have found myself in any other way.
Yeah. Situation period, huh?
Yeah. Like I never really thought some of these conversations I would have held, and even with the people that I've held them with.
That's my moment right now. It's like, man, I really have the radio guy sitting with me. I'm all excited, like, whoo. I even have him right here. Zoom in so they can see our picture. Like, I am so excited.
No, it is. It's been.
It's those wins that people don't know about. I don't know. Different people have different ambition in life, and I don't know. To me, it's just wow. I just sit there and wow.
Well, I mean, it's the same. Let me ask you the same thing, because you've been running the gamut for the last several months with a lot of the guests that you have, and then look at some of the guests that you've had.
And I sit here and I'm like,
last few weeks, like.
Yeah, it's big.
Did you think you would ever same thing?
Never.
Right?
If somebody would have told me I was good for nothing, this would never even be here. I had to prove myself. So it's like, man, see what you did? Now I'm everywhere.
But that's a good thing, though.
Yeah, it is. It is. It, like, again, my whole deal was always radio. Just like you, I'm a barrio kid. Mm-hmm. I didn't have big education. I wasn't huge on scholarship stuff. None of that, academic, anything. Although I did have a full-on paid scholarship to go to Fresno State, I wasn't allowed to. So there went my dream. There, I'm done. It was just a dream, whatever. I also wanted to meddle in the fields of forensics. I love CSI, the whole let's put this together. What happened? Like, I wanted something in that area, not specifically cornered too much. Like, I wanted to just even
if you were that person just collecting the
I just want to be there.
That was numbering everything and just collecting.
That didn't happen either. That was like my whole train of thought. My whole plan was go up to Fresno State on my scholarship. Transfer back to Cypress, because they're the ones that have all that to offer, and then work in that field. So I didn't meet him, but I got with my husband, and he was like, are you sure you want to deal with dead people all day long, every single day? And I was like, yeah. He's all, but we're thinking about having a family. Like, how are you gonna be picking up little dead kids and then coming home to your own dead kid? Like, isn't it gonna be weird? And I was like, well, why are you telling me now? I didn't even think about that, like, we don't have kids. He's like, but, that's what happens when you get married. You consider a family. And I was just like, you killed it for me. But either way, it didn't happen. So that's it. I went and I did the family business for almost 15 years with my dad, and that didn't work out either. But yeah, it's just surreal. The whole thing is surreal to me. You gave me an opportunity, so that's like, wow. Just the interview you gave me alone, just me listening out of the radio, I was like, oh my goodness, what the heck is this? So it's just crazy. It's crazy. So I'm right there with you, because all of it, I plan on expanding and keep going and getting really big names in here, but I guess it's one step at a time.
It's one step at a time. I mean, we've both been going at this for what, probably about the same amount of time, 5 years or so.
I'm 3. Right? I'll be 3. 4 in February.
Yeah, so we've been going about, which is funny because we've been having the adjacency together at the same time, and just now, to kind of cover another point you said earlier, I am surprised even before this how much of the same people we knew.
Yeah.
Similar people we knew, or at least a link away.
Yeah. It's all in the area, all in the community, and that's why, I wanted to bring you on here, because, like, the Sound of Music spot that you were trying to help out, every single person, when I started, like, sharing your posts, everybody knows that place. I had known that place, but I didn't know the place. I went to cover the story of Ruben Salazar because of the plaque, and that's where he got killed. But it's all, LA history. We all know, like you said, the same kind of people, the same area, the same stuff. So it's like we're tight like that.
No. It's also, I'm also like, how can it happen sooner? There's another question that comes up, but it's. I think it's like what I believe you and Blanca were talking about was timing.
Yes.
It's timing, and I guess, which is I'm liking, because it's like everyone's timing's happening at the same time and started at the same time. To the same people that we at least have a similarity in knowing. I mean, so our stories are what we're doing everything now.
Oh, let me give a saludo to Blanca G, because I know she'll be watching. I know you're trying to get her on, so yeah, she told me, oh, I got this, this and that, and will you come with me? I'm like, hell yeah, I'll come with you. Like, man, me and her got on the same magazine, the pinup, at the same time, so that was already like, woo, so she's been a great friend, I can honestly say, and even though we're so far away, like, we're on the phone freaking all day long.
And so that's, I think, the cool part of the social media. Like, I think now barely starting to get comfortable with social media and what it can do. You know what I mean? But just seeing how much the line is between A and B, it's fascinating. And if you can utilize the tool right.
Yeah.
Like, that's like the thing, like, and I've been trying to use it a little more for, just to try to figure it out. I know there's still a lot for me to learn, but it's definitely a good tool for something like we're doing.
You're right. It does. You can either use it for good or bad.
Yeah.
I still drop a comment, guys, and tell me what the heck is so big on Snapchat. Every freaking guy that I know is trying to hit on me. Do you have a Snapchat? What the hell's on Snapchat that isn't on Instagram?
Oh, maybe that's
Tell me, guys.
The flag.
Because I don't even allow.
Because you just said.
I don't even allow my kid to do Snapchat. Yeah, because it's all guys. I've never gotten asked by a female, "Do you have a Snapchat?" It's always guys. What is going on with Snapchat?
Put it in the funky category. Funky
Tell me, guys.
With the question.
Because I won't even let my kid have a Snapchat.
Funky with the question. That's what they're going to say. They're going to say yes. Funky with the question.
What is Snapchat used for, guys? Tell me the truth, because now I'm scared. No.
Because it's all just men and not one woman? Yeah. I've never had one woman that I've tried to get an interview say, hey, radio guy, hit me on my Snapchat. Never once.
Snapchat, do you have, what's your Snapchat?
So I put that in the suspicious box.
So, yeah, number one, don't say hey to me, because automatically I'm not even going to answer you. Number two, YD. Take the time to spell out what are you doing. And then number 3, if you're throwing Snapchat, I'm definitely not even gonna go back to the message at all. I'm not.
I think we'll go get your answer. That's a funky.
Yeah.
But then the funky box.
I really want to know what's behind this whole Snapchat stuff. Cause yeah, if that's like I said, it's suspicious because it's all men. So when I found out my kid had, I'm like, you're not on there.
Yeah,
why?
like,
no, you're not on there.
No, you don't know what's going on.
No, heck no, you're not on there. So
and then I've never had any female artist say the same thing. I'll let you bring it up. Never had that question.
let's talk about. I know it's like way off topic, but the conversation we had the other day about hooking up with people. It's all on medias now. The medias. One time, my nephew, his godson, is like, oh, telling him, oh, Nino, I'm gonna go ask her for her Instagram. He's all, why? Go ask her for her number. He turned around and looked at him. He's all, for what? He's all, so you could talk to her. He's all, no, like, I'll just get her Instagram. Nobody asks nobody for numbers no more, guys. It's strictly Instagram. It is your business card all the way around. People have relationships, they break up, and nobody even knew it.
Because it was all hidden. But see, that's what gets me is like, because you still have to approach the other person to ask them for their Instagram. So why not just ask for the number and just be shut down and take the loss?
But you know what I think too? After
is.
we had that little conversation, you and I sat here and I thought about it because again, I go on my social media. Maybe, you guys think about it. Is this the reason why? With Instagram, you have a full page of a resource to study this person and see if you really want to talk to them. Think about it. You see like a whole ass reference sheet.
Reference sheet.
And it's like, I don't want to talk to her then.
Yeah, it's like a resume.
Yes, right?
She said she had no kids, but there's a lot of kids.
There's a lot of What's all this?
Yes.
What's this orphanage?
Yes. I was sitting there really trying to think like, why? Why get somebody's Instagram, somebody's Facebook, but you won't ask for a phone number? That's suspicious to me. And now I think that's the answer.
So now you're thinking it's because now it's research.
Yes.
And the research now is you're looking at all the pictures.
See, and the reason why I thought about that too, and I put these on blast, like when I get hit up on Instagram, I put it on blast on Facebook, right? There's this guy all hugged up with this girl as a profile, right? The little bullet. He's like, hey, sexy, what you doing? You single? And I'm like, what the hell? You're not. What do you care? You're not.
Just like that.
And then he still had the nerve to be like, so where you live? Like, what's up? Like, you got no freaking shit, guy. So it's like weird. Like, I don't know. I just really think, like he said, it's a resume.
It's a resume. So you think that's the better way to go about it. That's why. It's easier to just get that
out of the way.
Platform.
Like, okay, she goes to church. But then she goes drinking right after. What the hell? She has no job, but she has those nails. How can she afford $100 nails with no job? What's really going on? I don't know. Maybe.
All right, that's a good point. Good point of view. Because we didn't cover that point of view. Because we were talking about take the rejection.
But see, when we talked about it, I didn't think about it till after. I was like, but why? And then the answer was in my fingers. I was like, this is why.
That's a good point. That's a good point. But I still say just take the loss.
If she has 10 kids, you'll figure it out eventually.
Take the loss. If you get a win through there, you figure out those 10 kids.
But if you do get their number, these kids ain't calling nobody. They're texting.
Yeah.
Nobody talks to anybody on the phone no more.
And that's what we were saying too, like, because you can't pick up content. Because that, I think, if I was going to talk to you, I think maybe hearing how you sound will make me go, well, do I want to scroll from this point? Or do I want to keep talking? I think maybe the talking is probably the better way. Because maybe I can go through this and be like, okay, pass, success, and then we go to talking, and then the talking could go.
He had a story like that.
I think maybe the talking is.
He used to like want to date this girl. She was alright. I'm not gonna say she was all that. She was alright.
She's alright.
And he'd say he could never have a conversation with her. All she would say was, "Huh? What else, right?" Or what would she say? He had no patience for her at all. He's like, "Fuck that. I'm hanging up. I don't think so.
No,
I'll call her when I want to have a good time. That's it."
Even then, he was probably like, "Nah."
He did. He did. But no, yeah, it's true. It's like you take that moment to really know who you're talking to, because pictures lie.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, I still think the pictures still won't be a good indicator. But yeah, it does bring up all the questions and red flags, so that
Like,
could
just
be an easier way to do it.
He was just working with a younger guy too, and that's what he was saying, that he was going out with this girl a couple times, but what did he say, that he thought she was probably using him because he puts on there that he's a welder, takes random pictures of stuff that really have nothing to do with him. He had a nice car at the time, and so he was like, a liar, because it's like, that's not really what you do, you liar. So stop posing, guys. We're gonna all eventually find out.
Yeah.
Liars.
Well, no, I mean, I think that's it too. Like, right? Like, you're gonna eventually find out.
Well, yeah, like say, okay, like that guy, for instance, he's picturing himself with a welding machine, this, that. Okay, say you get a girl like me. I want to see you weld.
Oh.
Show me welding. I am infatuated with machines.
Take off your shirt and weld.
See the process. I want to see your hands burn. Like, show me and tell me these scary stories that have happened while you're doing this.
I'm wearing no shirt though.
Yeah. So what are you gonna do when they ask you, "Oh, well, let me go see what you've done," or let me go see you work? What are you gonna do?
Nothing.
Say, "Oh no, it was my friend's garage. I was playing." Then why you have that picture talk about, "Oh, this is hard work"? Like, you liar.
You liar. The one picture that I really liked.
Yes. See, so don't lie, guys, because it will come to light.
Well, let's see. Yes. And maybe that's why there's all these new tricks of the trade. Because when I used the classic note, I was like, from someone else, gave to another person, and it was like, "Hey, give this note to so-and-so." That's how I did it.
That's what we would do too, and it was crazy because he lived all the way in Pico, so it wasn't just like, give it to him.
It was
your
just
next
pigeon,
period.
you gotta say, not that.
It was straight pigeon. Like, I would have to wait 4 days to get his answer.
For the courier.
It was crazy. Yeah, for us. It was like, because his cousin hooked us up. She was my best friend, and she used to go to Pico a lot. She lived across the street from me, so I'd send him a note and just hope and wait that maybe he had time to answer her so she could bring it back with her. And yeah, that's how we talked for a while. Or then after, he just got my number and like, "Okay, I'm just gonna stop the bullshit. What are you doing?" He's like,
her penmanship looks good enough.
"I'm at work. Leave me alone."
Remember, this was back in the day when you would have to sit on the counter in the kitchen on the phone.
Those are good days.
It was 23
years.
23 years ago, so we didn't have cell phones. It was, your mom walking in the kitchen, you're just like, hold on.
Yes.
Like this.
Mm-hmm.
Don't say anything. Yeah.
Noodles, get out of here.
She's still right there in 10 minutes on, what's she doing? Like this.
But it was so romantic. Those times were nice.
No, those were.
It's the little things that matter. Like you said, and like, then they would give you like the folded and all cute and pull here and the little flower or kiss. And now it's nothing. It's a text and that's it. And not even a whole, "What are you doing?" WYD. Why?
Yeah,
It's Instagram.
Yeah, when I sent that note, I was like, okay.
Waiting.
If I don't get a response by the end of the day, that's it. Move on.
Fuck her.
Yeah, carry on. Like, she didn't deserve that note. She didn't deserve my penmanship. No, but yeah, that was the thing, because you're like.
And then you get all proud of yourself and carry it in your see-through binder on the front, like, "Oh yeah, I gotta know."
Yeah. No, yeah. Those were important. Like, those were that, like, It's like you said. It's like you said. You said it too. It was mostly your point that made your whether you got that pass or not.
Yeah.
So it was like that letter, the penmanship. We're talking about how the penmanship, whether or not that was gonna make you continue, or also too like how some people would put art, like even if they put like cool pinstriping or like some sort of like design on it, or like you said the kiss, the fragrance. It's like you there was a level where you knew you were good to go. Like it was like each boundary was pushed that you could cross.
And you
now.
knew you were nowhere when it just said circle one, yes or no.
Yeah.
Oh, this sucks. No.
I'm gonna be used. So how do I answer? But
That's
yeah,
crazy.
no, that's yeah. Those notes. Yeah, those notes did a lot. I think those notes will still do more than scrolling through someone's profile. I'm gonna say that.
Right notes,
the profile
guys.
right now, since it's new school, the profile is probably. I'm gonna go with you on that one. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Just get it. But I still just get the number and get disappointed and move on and build a thick skin
and be excited to get that
excited,
call,
yeah.
right? Like you're not even knowing, like, damn, is it like my collection agency or is it so and so? Should I answer?
But no,
Crazy.
Yeah, so I don't know. I'm just
guys.
waiting to see how my kids do it with dating and stuff. Cause that's just
You have 2 teens, right?
Yeah, cause that's like same thing. It's gonna be like it's the online dating. It's like
I'm with somebody,
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
expecting
like-
to meet them, and then I'm not with her no more.
yeah,
4
like
months
so.
later, like
That's
damn.
gonna be the whole thing. Like, is that where it's gonna go? We don't really meet these people. Cause of that. Cause it's just so short.
But it's like, it's crazy because you play those games with each other and you don't even need to be in the same freaking room. It's crazy.
And people build relationships like that, like strong relationships.
This is crazy, guys. It's scary.
But again, it is what it is, and that's the next how this next generation operates. And it can always change in the future and revert back.
You think so?
I would think so.
Is it like fashions and clothes?
I think so.
Bell bottoms?
I think so.
Kids are starting to listen to vinyls again.
Yeah,
They're
I
buying
think
tapes again. Their styles of dressing are changing.
They could be going on long dates at the antique store now, and we don't even know. Because those antique store dates were probably some of the most important dates, right? You ever learn everything? Mm-hmm. See, that's the thing.
I would look forward to every Christmas
That-
when his company gave them bonuses.
That's the secret. The antique store date is the secret.
It is.
Hot Wheels out of the deal.
Yes, because that way you're doing nothing but talking, looking at old stuff. You're gonna get a good idea of that person just based on the antiques you're looking at.
But then what if they're not even into them?
They'll get into them.
No, they're not the one for you.
And then there's that. Definitely that you'll know. If they can't get down at the antique store in the swap meet, then don't keep them.
Yeah, no.
If they can't get down,
Especially swap meet.
yeah. If you can't get down on either
Yeah.
setting, they're not the one.
Yeah, you're not the one.
Yeah.
Go to a museum too.
No, yeah, because it's like the antique store's like that museum, right? There's something,
Yeah, I know.
There's something sexy about it. There's something sexy about being in a museum,
It
looking at
is.
old stuff. There's something sexy about being in an antique store. You're looking at an old Formica table. You're imagining all the dinners there. You're imagining, we can have our dinner here too in the future.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of stuff you're looking at. Maybe an old Ford that's in there, and you're like, who got shot up in this? Because these doors open this way. And it's like, you're looking at like, and you don't know, seriously, you're like, what happened in this car? Because
We had a romantic one like that too.
See?
There's an antique, what is it called? Junk and stuff. They had a straight hearse for sale in there, a nice Cadillac,
And that was
old
hot.
one. And we were
And how
all
hot was
romantic
that?
over it. Like, man, I
Exactly.
wonder how many people got carried in here.
Exactly.
1940 something.
Oh, shoot.
And we actually even got the number to the guy, and we left messages and everything, and the dude just never gave us a call back.
Yeah.
We were like, dude, we got the money in hand. Like, I
Yeah,
want
like,
this
you're
fucking
ready.
car. I want this car.
And how hot was
I
that?
was gonna go with it, but I wanted it.
Yeah. So never underestimate the swap meet and the
Antique
antique store
stores.
date.
Let me
That would have been a cool car to drop the kids off at school.
Yeah, right.
But you gotta pull them out
Yeah.
from the back. You gotta pull the thing like in the back and be alright, school. Just to see the reactions from the other parents.
Imagine. Oh man.
That'd be funny though. But I like
We
this.
never fit in anyway, so it's okay. Like whatever. Be quiet or I'm gonna throw you in there to take you cruising. Yeah, we good?
Yeah, we're rolling.
Oh,
Again? God.
Hey, all footage is good footage.
all footage is good
Edit
footage.
it anyway, but it's always good to have everything.
Yes, it is. It is. Okay, so being part of the community, and like I say, you're a staple because you are. You know, you do the community radio. You bring people together. I don't know. To me, you're just amazing. You give the information. You have the people connected. You're the bridge. You know. Where do you see yourself with this profession of yours in the next 5 years?
Next 5 years.
Because I know you want to do like TV and stuff.
I hope I'm still doing radio shows in the next 5 years. Definitely. I still hope I am being allowed to develop other hosts, other disc jockeys. I hope I'm still being allowed to train new disc jockeys, new host of families.
That's what I was going to say. You need to stay on there so I can be on there with you.
That's one of the things. Because one of the things I don't normally share is they've had me do a lot of training and development for other shows and hosts, which has been a big honor for me. So I hope I'm still doing that. Maybe by then I should probably look into things like syndication. Maybe getting these shows in a longer reach. Probably definitely should be part of that. And yes, TV, like a talk show.
Yes.
Yes.
Who would you have on and what would you talk about?
Who would I have on and what would we talk about? I think it would be an extension of what I do now, like what I do now on Saturdays in the Studio B, is have guests on. Like have guests on, have the conversations, just kind of like what we're doing now, kind of like what we're actually doing now. Like that, just have like, but have it, TV would be cool. Public access, local TV would be cool. Something like that, small. 3 a.m. where no one's gonna watch. Something like that. But no, that would kind of be, for me, yes, I would like to do TV. Even if it's like a talk show combination video show.
So you need to do podcasts now. There's no I don't have that. Look this is how simple it is. Look.
You never thought about just like recording your sessions like in the studio, just like a live, like you're just YouTubing it?
You know what? I do, and then I make an excuse up. Like, and no, I do. I'll be like, I should tape this interview and go live, but then I'm like, oh yeah, but I also gotta focus here on the console and on the board and everything. So I kind of like make that excuse where I'm like, because I think at the end of the day I could just be like here and on, and then just kind of forget about it and just be lost here. But I think I get in this whole thing where I'm like, no, that's like a whole other thing I gotta do. And I've only got so much time. So I think it's an excuse. But then I have footage of people that I've talked to.
Yeah.
But that's just sitting there. That's just sitting there.
I'm gonna put my interview out, my footage.
You know how you go live?
Yeah.
I mean, you basically turn around every couple minutes and be like, oh, so-and-so said what's up, hey, whatever. But I mean, I don't know, it would be kind of cool to see it though, like, because when we went, I was like, oh shit, this was like an actual radio station, it was like really cool to be there, like, yeah, we're like overwhelmed.
And I thought about it, but one of the things I think you're going to find out about me as you get to know me more is I do that. Like, I Charlie Brown it, and I have like all these thoughts. So it's like, one thought is like, yeah, you should tape this. Oh no, but then I gotta focus on this, and then this next person is gonna come in for their hour, and then all of a sudden it's just not on. But yes, it's something that I need to do because I need to do more. I need to put more out.
You do,
know?
because you're real interesting.
So I
You
need
are
to,
like literally one of the most interesting and like smart people I know lately. You are. And it's just talking to you is like, okay, cool. Like you're so full of knowledge and you need to put that out there.
no,
People will watch.
I've been telling myself, do more. You've gotten this far 5 years. If you put in a little more, it's like how much further you can go. So it's been proof of that. It's just got to do a little more. I mean, I barely just started showing my face, I think. Just barely talking about something this whole time where I started just showing my face a little
Why?
more.
Are you that shy?
See, that's what's funny is I'm going to say no. I don't think so. And I have that performance background, so it shouldn't be like a concern whether being shy. But yeah, it's just this, I don't know.
You're just the mystery behind the speaker.
I don't know if it's the mystery behind the speaker, or the laziness behind to the speaker who doesn't want to do all this stuff. Like, and I know I should. And it's like I said, the more effort I've been putting in within this last year, there's definitely been a positive response to it. So it's like, yes, I need to. And again, it's not. There's people who can support me, who'd be willing to do it. I'm not asking. So it's my own fault. But yeah, I know I do need to have more. Like I do have interviews that I have taped.
Yeah.
That I haven't put out. Good interviews too. Like
put them out.
I should do at least something, a portion of it, because it's I am sitting on some good conversations that I haven't put those videos out. And I don't know if it's like the whole thing where it's like radio, so I'm still kind of in the mysticism of it being so ethereal in one time almost. You know what I mean? So I don't know if I'm stuck on that mysticism too. Or I'm using it as an excuse why I don't do it.
So I'm listening to you. No. I say just do it. Just do it.
That's kind of like the thing. Like the one thing is like the question was brought up. Well, why don't you podcast? Why don't you do live? Why don't you do that? And it's always, what's my other one? Is what am I going to say that someone's going to want to hear, or am I going to say something that anyone wants to hear? So I guess it starts becoming that. It has to be, what can I talk about?
It's no excuses.
No excuses, no excuses.
Yeah, no, I think you should, and I think you would have an audience.
Yeah, no, you're right. So what's funny is I can't.
And how people, reach a broader audience. I mean, if you're only broadcasting out that area, in LA area, Instagram, Facebook, and all that.
YouTube,
Yeah,
especially YouTube.
Use the range. No, you're right. Use the tool better. And I'm slowly getting there. So I'm hoping by the end of this year, I've had at least a little more savvy.
We're 3 months away. Are you
3 months
sure?
away. So it's not much just more savvy. I guess to just have more out.
Yeah.
Being not too concerned. That's what I get hung up on. Is concerned about who's gonna watch or not watch. I don't know. I don't know what it is.
You should be like me. I always, again in Spanish, primero me aviento y luego me arrepiento, which means first I go for it and then after comes doubt and regret. Like, oh shoot, it's too late now. I'm already out there. Whatever, it's done.
No, that should probably be the approach.
And even though it's very uncomfortable, it's like it's already done. It wasn't that bad. Like, whatever.
Yeah, but you're in your natural habitat. Like you're there.
Communications,
You're doing your thing. Just be natural. Just this time you're just being recorded. Like I actually know a couple guys that live in Boyle Heights that had no idea they've been to your building
upstairs though.
Wow.
Yeah.
The days. I'm like, dude, I was there. And they're like, why are you there? It's a radio station. I'm like, what the fuck? So now they're like all intrigued about it, and they ask me about it. I'll show them the pictures and everything. So now, got a couple people right there that are interested now.
That's cool.
So you go live and get more viewers.
And what gets me too is like that point is there's people that live there that don't know the station's there, and that's another one. That's another one. Like it's another thing that I hear. I'll hear it, and it's another thing is like identity. like not just my identity but station identity. Like, how do we get his friends who are right up the block who don't know it's there? Like, so the question is, is there something on the facade of that building that's distracting people, turning people off? Is that building
I think they expect to see radio station like the cartoons with the little antenna and the frequency.
And we got the antenna on top. We don't have the little meter, but we got the antenna. I mean, you can see it. But I mean, I've heard that. I've had a guest who just lives right up Mott.
And then, like, what the heck?
And he's like, "What is this?" He told me why he doesn't come in. For him, it was a presence of the building, the pizza place. He said, wasn't. He thought that was a turnoff.
Oh.
So to me, I was like, okay, in your head, it might be the gentrification thing, maybe in his head.
That's a big thing.
So
they live off of Boyle.
Oh yeah.
They know about it. They're like, dude, it's so gentrified now that we don't even hang out in Boyle Heights no more.
Yeah.
And I told him about the building. He's like, oh, the pizza place? Fucking hipsters hang out there.
See, there's that. See, so that's the thing. Like, is that impacting the identity? And I know it's like a serious conversation because to me it kind of is, because it's like I'll see that and I'll hear that same thing too.
You're from that area.
Yeah.
How many changes have you seen throughout your living there? A lot.
I've seen a lot. I've also seen some that aren't as dramatic or drastic as some are thinking. But no, you definitely are seeing certain changes.
And we drove by, was it last weekend? They're building a bunch of those little cake houses.
The cake houses are the ones that are getting me the most.
And they're killing it.
Yeah, those are the ones I think for me right now in the area that are having me a little like side eyeing those buildings. And I mean, I have my own reasons why I'm side eyeing those. But there has been a lot of change that have been making people turned off to something that they might even like. Like, his friends might even be like, "Oh wow, we have a radio station here.
Yeah,
it's fantastic because
it's local. It's our neighborhood. Yeah,
you know." And that's kind of like. So when I hear stories like that, I'm like, okay, well, what can we do? What can I do to change that perception? I'm kind of glad you brought this up, because that is one thing that I'll ask the station managers, everyone at the station, like, what can I do to help change that? Like, how can we change someone who lives in the community, who they see that pizza place or they see that Paramount open again? Because that's what we share the space with. The Paramount Ballroom, and there's a place called Brooklyn Avenue Pizza. The space is fulfilling its original intent, that when the Cancinos moved in, coming from New York, Rita Hayworth's father, I mean, they're fulfilling like some of the whole mission of the whole thing. But I guess with the temperature and the way things have been going around, that's also turning people off. So that's been like one of my questions, like, what can we do? Like, any station, not just us, any station who's doing what we're doing, are they facing the same thing as they're in a similar community? So I guess that's my thing, is what is the big thing that not having a lot of people knowing that we're there? So that's like, I mean, what would you think? You know, when you visit there, and you're like, no, this space is really cool. I mean, on you, what would you think would be a good way to get a local?
Probably, yeah, like to visually show radio station or something. I don't know.
Well, because I mean, I know we have a lot of the hosts there. They do a lot of lives. They do a lot of, you know, they'll have their pictures of the interior. You know, when people come and visit, there's a lot of that. There's a lot of the excitement.
A lot.
Like,
I love it.
No,
yeah,
it's
the walls,
yes.
the pictures,
yes.
The history. But then again, we are that type.
Yeah.
The newer generation really don't give two shits.
They might not.
care.
Yeah, they may not. And that's the thing. Like, on Saturdays, do my show on Saturday, and I gotta walk to the pizza place because a lot of times there's shows coming up. So we and normally when we come in, at one point when I leave on my Saturday show, I can't go through that way because that's where all the attendees for the ballroom are coming.
Okay.
So that's, the entry. So we're through the pizza place, and yes, I can immediately feel and see who's not from the neighborhood.
Yeah.
As I walk through, I could just go like this.
They stand out.
And I'm like, none of y'all are from here, like whatsoever, right? That's not like a diss or anything. But my thing is, okay, cool. Now, how can we kind of like get people who are seeing this activity, who live on the block, be excited about what's going on in that building every other day outside of like maybe Saturday, Sunday, right, when they have shows?
Yeah.
So how do we change that? So that's my other thing, is like, what else can
take
we do?
advantage of those people coming in.
Yeah.
Hand out flyers and have a live show or something and involve the ballroom.
And see, that's the thing that I would like if the ballroom and the station worked more symbiotically. Like, let's say somebody's playing upstairs.
Give away tickets to
like
go watch
either give away
them.
tickets, or maybe the act come in and talk to one of our show hosts.
That would be cool.
Like something like that. I mean, I've reached out to guests that had played at the Paramount, and reached out to them about coming into the station. There's been even performers who didn't know that we were down there. So a lot of it is like, again, it's not a blame game. It's not blaming who's not sharing, who's not doing what. My only question and I pose that question to anyone who's going through this similar kind of topic. How do we get someone involved in what we have going on? So, Pomona, you have the same thing. Put yourself in the place here. What would you be doing if you found all that out? Same things happening here. Historical theater, all this stuff, station, nonprofit. Like, what would you guys do?
You gotta utilize what you have. Like,
your platform,
we have
use
a
it.
similar station out here that we would listen to. They're out of Riverside. I think they're out of the
college out
college
there.
in Riverside.
They used to have Aslan Radio every Friday night, and that's how we fell in love with community radio.
There was a radio station, but the cool thing about it was he would have these shows once a month at Lake Elsinore. So then he would have live shows at this show, but he would do a bike show. And he would be up on stage. He would have a band up there. And next you know, everybody's tuning into this thing at, 12 o'clock at night. We're tuning in at 12 o'clock at night just to listen to an hour of hard to find underground oldies.
Mm-hmm.
East LA has so much pride in their area.
A lot.
If you were to connect with the lowrider culture, you would get so many people wanting to listen in if you were to have something similar. Just because they want something to represent their area.
Yeah.
Whittier Boulevard is huge.
Yeah, and we have like a huge.
Hit Whittier Boulevard, pass out flyers. You know what I mean? You gotta get them special guests on.
And do the Art LeBeau, the dedications,
the oldies,
Huggy Boy stuff.
Yeah.
Our two greats are gone. That's what had that whole.
And there's nobody yet.
Community,
Trying to fulfill that place, is there?
Well, I'm here, guys, so I'm gonna go to the station now.
If you were to connect with somebody in like that kind of like in that world, the car culture. East LA has so much pride. East LA, they have so much pride, and there's still so many events going on. And if you were to try to get some of that traffic to come down your street on a Saturday night, live shows, you know what I mean? And I'm sure there's a way.
No, there's a way. It's just and those are like things that I'm like, well, why am I and you not doing that?
Well, let's get to it next week.
No, that's the
Instagram is huge.
Yes. Yeah, no, and that's the thing. It's like,
you put them flyers out on Instagram, they get shared everywhere. And I didn't know about it until she told me about it, and now I'm telling my friends about it. They're like, I live on Mott.
Yeah.
I'm right around the block from that, and they know the pizza place, but they didn't know about the radio. Yeah. So now they're interested. They're following me and they're looking at all the pictures we share, and now they're interested. And it's all through Instagram. You know, so if you were to utilize that, the car culture, the bike culture, Instagram, you could probably get huge.
And see, that's the thing. Like that is I think that is just a whole market we all should be capturing. Like all us disc jockeys, in spite of what our normal theme platforms.
Genres, right? Is it a genre?
Yeah, I mean, I love mixed music genre, but I also like lowrider culture, fashion. I like checking that out. I like looking at that. I like looking at the models, the music. The music is probably the one thing, whether you're into car culture or not. I think the biggest thing that brings everyone together is that music. You know, it's like the biggest supportive piece out of the whole thing. So even for me, it's like I love oldies, and I love soldies, and I know I don't really push myself as like this soldies disc jockey.
He's a cholo. Not just kidding.
I'm just like I'm just like, if you catch me on one of these weekends playing it, then you lucked out.
Yeah.
And so. But yeah, so that's the whole thing. Like, so I still gotta, because that's what I think. The same thing when someone's listening. It's like, what do I want to play today? Like, do I want to play something like if you just tuned in and you're gonna go cruising, and hopefully I put something on to make
catch the ear
to at least get you to the block that you're gonna go, and then you can change it when you get there. But I kind of have those conscious decisions in mind. I'm consciously doing the broadcasting live off of Brooklyn Avenue. I try to play songs that, I try to think the same thing. Someone's out putting on makeup, getting dressed to go out. And if I can get her going, or if I can get the guy that's cruising to go pick her up.
You need to start defacing property.
But
stickers.
these are good suggestions, and one is the most obvious that should have already been there in my head, to be honest. But yeah, that's the thing, like the identity. And so it's not a diss to anyone or even the owners of the space or any of that, because I still feel that's what we're still not fighting for, that we're still working on, is that identity, right? Because it's like no community station, right? But because sometimes you have other stations, it's like, what's that one station? Is it KPFK that has the Tiny Desk concerts? So there's this one radio local, I think it's KPFK, it's one of them. If I got it wrong, I'm sorry. But they'll have this thing called Tiny Desk concerts. And they'll have musicians that look like a room, that looks...
Oh, did they have the Ruby Bias?
Yeah. So it looks...
Play in front of the desk.
So it's like, essentially that's what it is. The musicians playing in front of a desk in a small room probably no bigger than the room we're in. And that's what they do. So I guess it's about finding something that we do different, or maybe if we don't do it collectively different as a station, maybe something different as a host or a disc jockey.
Give them slices of pizza.
That'll probably do anything.
The pizza place will still be loved, and you will be acknowledged. Cause I would go. You give me a piece of pizza, I'll drive over there.
You're like, I'll say anything.
I am a sucker for pizza. It's all good. I will drive for my free slice of pizza. Like, hell yeah, this radio station just gave me pizza. Check them out, guys.
Lives. I think lives
more.
I'm a visual person.
Yeah.
I am a visual person.
And that works.
Free and visual.
Free pizza that I can see.
Yeah.
It's like, honk loud enough. If I can hear you, I will give you a slice of pizza. Come claim it at the window. I don't know.
And it's a good question though that you bring it up, and I think it was something that we should talk about. Like I said, identity. And I think it's a good topic to talk about with anyone who is even just creating anything. I guess it's the idea of having a concept of our identity, right? Like your identity that you have and my identity that I have, that I hope I created a good integral identity. But yes.
You're the radio guy sitting on my couch. You have an identity. Yes, this is all good. So, we're going to wrap it up.
Yes.
Is there anything you want to throw out there that maybe I didn't ask you?
No. We can always say that for a follow-up. No, I mean, outside of that, I think the only thing I can really share is I'm one of the the original organizers to the East LA Cape, which was, we first started as the East LA Comic Con, and we switched over to the East LA Cape, which was the East LA Comic Book Art Pop Culture Expo, and it's a comic book convention that we created, a free comic book convention that we created for the community. So it was our way of, one, there'd never been any comic book conventions in the East LA area. So we were like, not to be the first ones to do it, but we did it to capture the popularity of the culture that's been happening in a way where you can bring the family for free. Because all these comic book conventions and stuff, they can get expensive. So this one we're like, nah, let's bring, where you can bring grandma, grandpa, you can bring grandma in to see why she makes fun of you. You know, like, we were just like, nah, like, for everyone, bring the uncles, all the ones that think you're weird. Let's invite them for free into the world, into our realm, and show them how we do things, and how we do things East LA style, with being a nerd.
That's it. Even though I'm over here, you know, we're always over there. The other day, even this one was already contemplating, like, damn, should we just move over here? And I was like, but then I'm gonna miss Pomona. Like, our life is over. We've been here 13 years. And a lot of people don't know this, but Pomona is so huge. We have 6 different districts with 6 different zip codes. And we've lived literally in each one.
That's huge.
We're renters, so you know how that goes. But we love it out there. Damn, like, I genuinely love it over there. I always like joke with us here, Hope right here for us is a little piece of LA over there. If I'm bored and like those days that we're not doing nothing, but then you get burned out of not doing nothing, but you don't want to go nowhere, I tell them, just take me to Hope. So all we do is drive down Hope, up and down, and that's all I needed. Okay, I'm good, let's go home. Now I'm tired of watching all these people do everything they're doing. It got me tired. Let's go home. And it's just amazing. I love everything about LA. To start just the buildings alone, to look at them, and then you sit there and think, man, look at the detail. How long did it take for them to do this without the help of technology, machinery that we have now? Because all those buildings are over 100 years old. And they're just beautiful.
Still standing.
Yeah, and
earthquake
still
after
standing.
earthquake.
After the earthquake we had, when we went over there for our interview, there was an earthquake.
When we went for that interview, yeah.
I don't know if how it was freezing over because I actually made it into a radio station. I don't know what it was, but there was an earthquake.
That was pretty good.
And we didn't even think it was till after.
And then the shake. And what else happened?
My goodness. Did you see the video? The way I have it all slow motion? Oh my goodness. Wow, that was one for the eye to watch. It's hilarious. I had one of my...
Because I'm just thinking like... No, go ahead.
One of my people on Facebook is like, he's all, was that real? I'm like, yes! He's all, looks like straight out of a Mr. Bean's episode. I was like, no, like it was really... Like I went to get it and it just... all the reactions, everything you see is real. It wasn't played or skipped it or scripted or whatever. It was real. Man, you can't take me nowhere.
No, that's what I was saying. Like, because that's what I was thinking about it. When he left, I was like, all these little things happened in the earthquake. I know she's gonna say something else. I know she's gonna have a theory behind all of this.
It was cool. It added to the whole experience, right? Like, man.
No, that was interesting. It's the way it shook too and everything. It didn't seem right.
I know, right? Yeah. And it was more like a sound, guys. Like it just sounded like a roll-off truck that hit a speed bump. Just bah, bah. Yeah. And then it was like, ooh, and then it's like the building had little sprinkles of dust falling down.
That was about it. Shoot. Yeah, that was about it. Because it did sound like a rolling truck. And then it shook, yeah. You
went to grab your stuff, and the girls that were cleaning grabbed their kid. Yeah. We were still outside taking pictures, and everybody's looking at us like, and I was why are you not scared? It's like, no, we're good. Yeah, look at the building.
And I was like, I better go back in because I got to file this interview. I got to archive this real quick. But yeah, that was funny.
It was an experience. So aside from ask questions to not only the youth, people overall that have, say, that dream or they want to get to where they want to get, what would your advice be to them?
Honestly, take the opportunity. If you see that there's an opportunity there, just take it. It's like you said, just do it first and worry about the consequences, worry about what happens. So what I would do is do it. Do it. Use your support system. If you have a positive support system, use them. And I don't mean like use them in a negative way. I mean like they're going to be some of your tools that help you go through, that'll help you kind of keep you adjusted. And if you feel you don't have it, that's okay, because you'll create it. You'll be able to get that support as soon as people see you're doing what you're doing. And just go nonstop, I guess. Don't give up. Go nonstop. I would listen to stories like yours, Blanca's story, any story that is kind of that feels like a second chapter story. I say those are the people to really look at. No matter what age you're doing this.
Yeah, that's what I was just saying.
No matter what age you're doing this.
We're around the same age, and we're barely getting where we thought we needed to be.
Yeah.
So don't give up on age or be discouraged, or like me, that I always thought my time has came and gone. You know, all of a sudden I'm doing this modeling stuff, which is something like, for me, it was never like I wanted to be a model, but invitations come to me, so I'm gonna take them.
Yeah.
I ain't no model, but I'll stand there.
Yeah.
You know?
But what has that done for you, and what have you done for people?
Blow up my head. No, just kidding. Honestly, I do it to show the people that you can do it.
Yeah.
You don't need to be a flat-stomached woman, because I'm far from perfect. You don't need to be that Barbie doll. You don't need to be the look that people expect you to be. That's why I do it. I have flab. I have 2 kids. I've been married 19 years. I have bags under my eyes. If I have the courage to stand there and do it too. Fashion, I've always liked. I've been blessed, and I say blessed because it's always been like a goal of mine to do Fashion Week. Who knows if that will ever happen, you know, out there in Paris. But here I am. I've done 2 runways, and I'm all excited. Those are like big moments for me. They will come to you, but take that chance. Throw it out there. Look for the opportunity. If they invite you, go. If they invite you, go. Because we're showing everybody else that it can be done. Like I said, you don't need to be Cindy Crawford. You know, you don't need to be that whole J-Lo body. You could be yourself. People don't just look at that. You know, we have people with different tastes. Everything's in, and we need to be realistic. We don't all have money for the BBLs, the tummy tucks, and the fake breasts. They're nice, but we can't afford them. So work with what your mama gave you and appreciate yourself. That's what we can do at the end of the day. Yeah.
But I think that's definitely probably some of the best, to just really go about it. Was even said here to just use your phone and do your lives, and then capture whatever attention you can. So yeah, I'll add that one too, so that way I can even remind myself the same thing.
Yeah.
Is just that. And another thing I would do, no matter what you're gonna do, be willing and ready to make any changes and adaptations you have to make. Meaning, you can start your content as one thing, and it might find its way somewhere else. Be open to that.
Yeah.
Be open to that.
My people already know that.
No, be open to that.
Yeah, I started here and went like...
No, you have to be open to it, because doing this showed me a couple things. One of them was doors I never thought would open for me to invite me in have happened. So that was occurring. A whole world I thought I was part of and made all these connections and stuff. That didn't pan out as I thought that it would. So while I thought I was part of a community, and at least enough in the community I was part of where we can be doing things like this, turned out it wasn't so much. But there was these whole other doors and communities that were just like opening.
Yeah.
So while one I thought wasn't working for me, there was like a dozen that opened at the same time. So that would probably be the one thing is it's okay to change your content. It's okay because it might have to for whatever reason. So if it feels it has to, I would say don't resist it too much.
Find your flow, guys.
Yeah.
Find your flow.
Yeah.
You'd be surprised. You like you're fixated on doing this, and then you do this, and then this one went better. So roll with it.
Yeah.
Roll with it, but roll. Roll with it, but roll, guys. Just stay in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it. That's what I would say.
All right, guys. So you got it from Mr. Patrick J. Martinez. I'm hoping to work with him a lot and for a long time.
Well, we definitely, too, remind them, you've got now your 7 minutes with B that we're going to be running on Mondays at Ham Radio from 8 p.m., 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I know the link will be included with this one where they can go for that. And we're planning, every 2 weeks? So bi-weekly. So twice a month, which is going to be the second and fourth, right?
Yeah.
Second and fourth Mondays is when your segment is. Probably right at the half mark. We'll look at it.
And if we have 5 weeks, we're coming in together, guys.
Yeah.
All right. So.
You gotta do your outro that.
Which one?
The one that you said.
Broadcasting.
Yeah.
Oh, I do my outro?
Yes, do it.
Okay. Which one? Okay. This is KQBH-LP, Los Angeles, California, 101.5 FM. This has been a community service of the Boyle Heights Arts Conservatory. Broadcasting live on your FM dial, 101.5 FM, and streaming at KQBHLA.com.
All that, guys. All right. Just a little. Bye.